Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Bless this city and this county, Lord, and all that you've done in many, many years. I pray that you continue to bless it as we move forward. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have two presentations.
Can Zachary Hamill, Emergency Operations Manager, please join the board up front for a presentation of a proclamation recognizing September 2024 as National Preparedness Month.
National Preparedness Month, September 2024. National Preparedness Month is a national effort held each September to highlight the importance of emergency preparedness, such as a major disaster or flood, wildfire, earthquake, public health crisis, or terrorism, which could cause devastating loss of life and property and cause damage to the environment. Sutter County is committed to making preparedness education a priority. Multiple resources are available to citizens to help ensure preparedness include online tools. Be Prepared Sutter County provides information to the community on hazards to the Sutter County trip or personal preparedness and steps taken during before and during and after disaster. Code Red allows people to sign up for notification of a disaster in their area. Zone Haven provides a visual representation where the residents can learn about evaluating and knowledge that they know that they live and work, learn to play in. Real Government, a national campaign designed to educate and empower Americans to prepare for the response to emergencies, including natural and man-made disasters. Sutter County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaim the month of September 2024 as National Preparedness Month in Sutter County and call upon the community members to take steps to prepare for emergency at home, work, or school to support the effort to ensure residents are prepared for unforeseen disasters. Zach?
It is a mouthful. So 2024, the focus, every year FEMA comes up with a theme, and this year's theme is Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islander communities. And we have those different communities within our community here. It's following the last 4 years where they focus on Latino, Black, African American, and last year being older adults. Our threat landscape is constantly changing and evolving and worsening. So we need to take important steps to build our resiliency here in Sutter County to make sure that we can bounce back from a disaster quicker. One of the FEMA, recent studies FEMA conducted was less than 40% of Asian Americans believe that preparing helps. So we really need to change that attitude. Less than 40%, that's kind of a concerning number. We really need to make sure that we are preparing for a disaster because it does help with that resiliency. We need to check on our neighbors. We need to make sure that they're okay. Since we are such a flood-prone community and we're going into flood season, hopefully sooner than later, get out of fire season at least. We never want to walk or drive through flooded streets. We always want to turn around and don't drown. That's a big campaign of ours. And then, as you mentioned in your proclamation, going to bepreparedsutter.org, you can learn all about preparing for disasters, how to help respond during disasters, and then recovering from after a disaster. And then lastly, I just wanted to point out that on our website, you can learn more about Zonehaven, sign up for Code Red, and then lastly, something new this year is we have 5 flood and evacuation brochures that are broken out per basin. So Meridian, Robbins, Nicholas. So we have all the basins have their own preparedness brochure. So please check that out. Thank you. Come on, Dad. You're hiding in the back here. It's true.
Ken Sra, Director of General Services, and the Sutter County Information Technology Department, please join the board up front for recognition of their response to the worldwide tech outage on July 18th, 2024.
The whole team's here. Come on over. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Ken Sra and the IT team recognition. Late on the night of Thursday, July 18th, computers around the world running Microsoft Windows operating systems crashed, resulting in the world's largest tech outage. A cybersecurity firm, a global distribution software update unintentionally shut down the IT systems of customers, which included airlines, medical facilities, TV stations, financial institutions, 911 dispatch centers, and the systems of state and local governments, including ours. The Information Technology Division of Sutter County General Services Department responded immediately. Overnight, shortly after 3 a.m. Friday, General Services Director Ken Sra reported that the staff was bringing critical systems and emergency services back online before the beginning of the Friday morning workday. The evening, he reported the IT team spent many as 20 hours manually recovering, impacting county computers. The Board of Supervisors would like to recognize and commit the staff of the IT division not only for the swift mobilization and restoration of critical public safety to our community functions during the worldwide outage, but for the competence, efficiency, and dedication you showed every day in the workplace. Thank you. Ken.
Just first of all, I'd like to thank the board for the recognition. It's truly an honor, and thank you to the CIO's office as well. Cybersecurity is a top priority for us, and it's something that the team has to deal with constantly. It's never ending. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. Really our best defense against all this is this team that you're seeing in front of you, standing here. The core of this team has been together between 15 to 20 years. So it's not something you can build overnight. But it is the reason why they work so well together, and also why they were able to respond to the incident so quickly. We as a county agency are very fortunate to have these people, these professionals working here for us. It's something that every other agency would love to have. So really the credit goes to all of these people that you see right here. So thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I'd just like to say you have an offensive team. You guys are proactive in trying to find the problem before they hit us. And this last outage really demonstrated that ability of your team. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all your work.
Yeah, I'd like to thank and acknowledge the entire IT team. I know they all couldn't be here, but I appreciate those that could. I was just saying to, I think, Supervisor Flores yesterday that I would put our IT staff up against any government in the North State. I mean, we're so fortunate to have them. They make things happen, and they're a small team. Like many of our departments in Sutter County, they're very lean when you compare regional counties as well. And I think the vision that the team has in convincing us to have an information security officer a few years ago. That was a new position, but someone Michael has been with the county for a long time. But I know many of the folks have been, and even the new staff have really just stepped up and made things happen. So I just wanted to say how much we appreciate you all. And I think Sarah would like to say a few things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So with our 575 employees, we just really could not have gotten through that without you. I actually was talking to Ken at 1:30 in the morning on the night of the incident and wanted to be sure that our 24-hour staff at our 1965 Live Oak campus were safe. We didn't really know the extent of what was going on. And so I really wanted to recognize, you all were up all hours of that night. You responded out to the psychiatric health facility and to our crisis team. And you provided that customer service in the middle of the night. It was a world-class response. You touched about 295 of HHS machines individually. It was incredible. And I just want to thank you so much on behalf of your colleagues.
Okay. Public comment. Members of the public be allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State law provides that no discussion or action may be taken on any item not appearing on a posted agenda. Do we have any speaker cards?
Yes, Chairman, we have 3 speaker cards. The first public speaker is Tina Hessong.
It's election season and things are heating up across the country. Citizens of Georgia have declared a state of emergency in their election system. A presidential coup took place before the DNC convention to change the Democratic candidate. The assassination attempt of a former president and current candidate. And Mark Zuckerberg has admitted and regrets that the Biden-Harris regime pressured him to censor millions of Americans in the lead up to the 2020 election. These are just a few of the recent examples that indicate how crucial the election is and the lengths that will be taken to ensure a certain outcome. Yet I still wonder, how can anyone consider the election industrial complex voting system to be secure when nearly every other industry is faced with cybersecurity issues? It's a farce to think otherwise. Cyber attacks are happening everywhere. The Federal Reserve, CrowdStrike, Social Security, the Seattle airport, and apparently even here in Sutter County. And the Musk and Trump interview are just a few recent examples. If 2 of the most influential businessmen with unlimited resources struggle against cyber attacks, why would anyone think that the election industrial complex is the only sector to be secure? CSIS has reported 36 significant cyber attacks this year, and they have made a joint PSA with the FBI warning of potential DDoS attacks during the 2024 election cycle. Hello? That is called election interference through a secure voting system, and they are warning you about it in advance. Why? Because the election system is connected to the internet and is using algorithms to fractionate votes to change the outcomes of elections. The indisputable evidence presented to the Ohio Secretary of State by Dr. Jerome Corsi and Paquette of the secret algorithms that are used in the 2020 election in several states brings forward a criminal scheme to facilitate mail-in voter fraud. The FBI is committed to investigate the use of algorithms in elections and solve the problem. What does that mean? It means that your hands are dirty and you were part of the fraud. NCS, New California State, will prove the reality of these algorithms by presenting your numbers to you publicly at the next meeting. The 2020 true numbers have been reported to other supervisors showing their elections were lost and they were not elected by the people. You must get in front of this issue and correct it for this coming election by not using the electronic machines and going back to one-day hand-counted elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Tony Farley.
I'm next. Tony Farley, South UC, Walton, Hyde Park. Here, thank the Sheriff for his service. Scott Small, thank you for your service. The Hoorah Marine, thank you for your service. Good job, thank you for your service, Zachary Hamill, the Hamilton, man. Zachary Hamill, you earned a lot of awards today. Thank you to the new rookie sheriff right here. Thank you for your service too. Bill, thank you for your service, Bill. Professor Steve, thank you for your service. Scott is big time money bar lawyer, man, for real. Thank you for your service, Sarah Rios. Sarah Rios helping my Section 8 out. I appreciate her Sarah. And thank you for your service, Star Wars guy, and the farmer, and Carm Baines. Thank you for your service, Carm Baines, the Carm Baines guy. Thank you for your service, Jamie. And thank you for your service, Stephanie and Gina. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Tony. Next speaker.
Our last public speaker is Tyson Earhart.
Hello. Let me begin by noting that I find the Sutter County's online meeting calendar to be a very nice resource. Agendas, agenda packets, minutes, meeting video, etc., are easily accessed, and it is worth noting publicly. At the August 21st Planning Commission meeting, the large lot tentative subdivision map and small lot subdivision maps for Lakeside at Sutter Point were approved by the Commission. This approval is in contradiction to the 2009 development agreement between Sutter County and South Sutter LLC. It continues to baffle me why Sutter County will not abide by the terms of the development agreement. No tentative maps until a developer sign a supplemental mitigation agreement with the school districts. It doesn't say no tentative map unless the county really needs a sewer line extension. It doesn't say no tentative maps unless the developers have already spent tens of millions of dollars and need this thing to move forward. If the terms of the agreement were so bad, why did the county and the developer sign? The same developers now asking for tentative maps worked on the original agreement. And now, 20 years later, their stance is the terms of the agreement are not legal, and people wonder why no one trusts developers. At the Planning Commission meeting, it was noted by a commissioner, and I'm of course paraphrasing, that this project is too important to the community to be held up. Additionally, they said there's still time to come to an agreement after this approval. That is not what the agreement stipulated. This is the very reason why this needs to be enforced. I am a lifelong South Sutter County resident. I could not be more disappointed in how the county has handled this situation. The original mitigation agreement needs to be enforced or we risk bankrupting 2 school districts. Once again, big money gets their way at the expense of the little guy and the students that the little guy educates. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyson. Okay, moving on. Consent calendar groups together those items of interest which are considered non-controversial or which prior policy direction have been given to staff and require only routine action by the board. The chair will advise the audience that the matter may be adopted in one total motion. However, the board may, as option or upon the request of a member of the public, consider any matter separately. Do we have any speaker cards on the consent calendar? No. Okay. Footnote here, we will have to pull items 4 and 15 because they both require a 4/5 vote. And so it would be minus items 1 through 21 minus 4 and 15.
To the chair.
Yeah.
Move approval of consent less items 4 and 15.
Carm?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Supervisor Flores,
Aye.
Supervisor Baines,
Aye.
Supervisor Conant.
Aye. Okay. Moving on to item number 22. We will open, hang on one second, let me go to the right page. We'll open the Waterworks District 1 meeting and adjourn the Board of Supervisors meeting, and we will let the roll call stand. Bill, this also requires a 4/5 vote, and we can't do this item either. So do we actually start the meeting, or how do we proceed with that?
You would start the meeting, indicate that we don't have 4 members present, and then
Okay. So I guess we go start, do the public comment. Members of the public are allowed to address the board, Water District 1 Board of Directors on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter and jurisdiction of the board. State law provides that no action may be taken on any item not appearing on a posted agenda. Appearance item, and this is, I guess, where we will actually close the meeting, correct? So since we don't have a quorum, and we'll close the meeting, and we'll go to the adjourn, the Waterworks 1, go to the regular board meeting, let the roll call stand. And Neil Hay, yours is the first item up.
Introduction of an ordinance establishing a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit on Berry Road in Rio Oso. Waive the full reading, direct the clerk to read the title only, and continue the item to the meeting of September 10th, 2024 for adoption.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. Thanks for this opportunity to be before you today. So in your staff report, our department received a request to perform a traffic study on a section of Berry Road. This is not the section off of 99 at the south end of, I'll say, Yuba City proper, but this is actually down in Rio Oso area, west of Highway 70, State Route 70. I believe we might have an exhibit in the, or some documents in the staff report that I can scroll through. So what happens is staff went out, studied the number of pedestrians, the number of vehicles, and the speeds of the automobiles traversing the roadway. Just to give you some background, the traffic volume, well, the cars were averaging about 38.5 miles an hour, and we had a number of, I want to say a couple hundred cars per day. Sorry. So the current speed limit's non-posted 55. We're recommending a speed limit of 40 miles per hour. It's essentially a dead-end road, but the residents had concerns about cars speeding down that area, and they have both animals, dogs, cats, and sometimes there are children that are playing in the street. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the board? No? Any speaker cards? No. I guess we need a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
Supervisor Flores,
Aye.
Supervisor Baines,
Aye.
Supervisor Conant.
Aye. And you'll read the...
An ordinance of the County of Sutter amending the Sutter County Ordinance Code by adding to Section 1100-100 relating to the prima facie speed limits.
Okay. Neil?
Thank you, Neil, for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Approval of an independent contractor agreement with Woodard and Cran in an amount not to exceed $2,665,000 to accomplish a portion of the scope of work for the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act Implementation Grant benefiting the Sutter Subbasin. Waive the requirement for a request for proposals for for consultant selection under the provisions of Sutter County Ordinance Code 1650, and authorization for the Director of Development Services to execute and administer all contract documents.
And I'm going to ask our principal engineer, Guadalupe Rivera, to come and speak on this matter and present it to you, since he's been managing our SIGMA program for quite a number of years. Thank you.
Mike,
Sorry. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and members of the Board. Guadalupe Rivera, Principal Engineer with the Development Services Department. The item before you is regarding the work associated with compliance with the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, also known as SIGMA. There are 3 subbasins within the county: a small portion of the Butte subbasin, all of the Sutter subbasin, and about 25% of the North American subbasin. Specifically regarding the Sutter subbasin, the GSP was adopted by the board in January 2022, and in October of 2023, we were notified that DWR had approved the GSP for our subbasin, and it was one of 257 GSPs that were approved, which is about 66 of the plans were approved. So we were very proud of the fact that we were one of 66% of the approved GSPs. In 2022, grant funding was made available for a GSP implementation. DWR received 82 applications requesting over $780 million in funding. However, only 31 of those applications were recommended for funding, with a total of $187 million. The application for the subbasin, for the Sutter subbasin, was one of those 31 applications, receiving $8.53 million in grant funds. This grant fund will fund 5 components, which are shown on the screen before you: the grant administration, the annual reporting and model updates, monitoring and data gap improvements, the GSP financing plan, and Butte Water District irrigation system improvements. Although it is one of the lowest cost components of the 5, the GSP financing plan will be critical for the future of the county's general fund. This financing plan will develop how to ultimately fund the costs needed to comply with this legislation that does not have an end in sight. As potential scenarios for assessments for the end users of groundwater are developed, we will come back to the board with updates for that. The engineering firm Woodard & Kern have been instrumental in the GSP development and grant applications, and to keep the work progressing at a good pace to complete on time, the department is recommending that a contract be awarded to Woodard & Kern, as they were previously selected through an RFP process, as noted in the GSP. Grant funds are expected to be expended by the end of March 2026, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Guadalupe. Any speaker cards? No speaker cards. Any questions from the board? No question.
Through the chair. I have a question. If you look down in the valley, you look in Madera, and those folks that aren't allowed to, they're in a white zone and they can't farm anymore. I mean, where are you taking Sutter County with? I mean, it looks nice to get a grant for $2.5 million, but how are you positioning your farmers for the future?
So right now we currently have our groundwater conditions are in a much better situation than most of the Central Valley. And so that is something that we are keeping an eye on and needing to focus and monitor. And part of our GSP plan is to ensure that we don't get to a point that we are in the same situation as that Central Valley. And so within the GSP, there are thresholds that should our groundwater conditions cross those thresholds, that would require management actions to prevent us from getting into a situation similar to the Central Valley, and to ensure that we have groundwater for future use.
Guadalupe, thank you for the report. I think it's fair to say that Sutter County is truly blessed to have an abundant, not abundant, but a good resource of water in the valley, that one of the better places to be, I guess. And we were able to get our Sigma compliance up fairly easily. Well, that might be overstating, but at least it was doable.
Yeah, our consultant did a great job, and our partnering agencies that work with us, like the City of Yuba-City, City of Live Oak, some of the reclamation districts, and other folks that are part of that are also GSAs, they worked hard on working together and making sure that we developed a good groundwater sustainability plan.
And I think a lot of that goes that we have a lot of conjunctive use water districts, meaning you use well water and surface water in collaboration with each other, and that ends up making a much more healthy aquifer. And that's one of the reasons why we're able to do that. Thank you, Guadalupe. Thank you for the report. We need a motion.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, next is item number 25. Veronica Baumgartner, Human Resource Director, will present item number 25.
Approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Sutter County Deputy Sheriff's Association for the period of July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. Extend a 4% base salary increase for the class titles of Communication Manager and Correctional Lieutenant. Extend a 2% base salary increase for the class titles of Administrative and Finance Manager, Law, and Chief Welfare Investigator. And extend educational incentive pay changes to the class titles of Communications Manager, Correctional Lieutenant, Administrative and Finance Manager, Law, and Chief Welfare Investigator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. Veronica Baumgartner, HR Director. As you know, the existing agreement between the county and the Deputy Sheriff's Association, the DSA, is expired on June 30th, 2024. The county and the association has been actively in negotiations since early April, and we are happy to announce we have reached tentative agreement, and this contract was ratified on August 2nd by the members of the DSA. Just to highlight a few areas of the agreement, a 2% base wage increase effective August 24th, so this pay period, and concurrently a 4.2% equity adjustment for the class titles of Secretary Law and a 6.5 equity adjustment to the class title of Welfare Investigator 1-2. This also includes a 2% base wage increase effective July of 2025. And another area of this agreement was converting the educational incentive pay from a flat rate, which it was previously, to a percentage-based rate, a 2.5 base for post-intermediate or an AA or an AS degree, and another 2.5 for a post-advanced or a bachelor's in arts or science. And this is in line with all other units in the county, so it was nice to make them from a flat pay rate to that percentage rate to be more equitable across the board. We also added 3 paid holidays just to those employees who don't receive a holiday bank, so those employees that are non-safety employees in the DSA, which is less than 10 employees. So we were able to get them on the same track with the rest of the county as well. As you know, the terms and conditions of this agreement are consistent with the authority that your board had given us throughout the last couple months. And the cost of the base wage increase in equity adjustments is approximately $188,000 for fiscal year 24-25 and $352,000 for fiscal year 25-26. The Sheriff's Department and Health and Human Services, who also has employees in this unit, will absorb these increased costs with their existing budget authority that's already been given in 24-25. Therefore, no additional budget authority will be needed for 24-25, as this is already provided in their budgets, or they will find the funding for that. I did want to say that I, appreciate the team that I appreciate our team, the county's team, which was made up the CIO's office and some of HR and the undersheriff, and I appreciate your guys' guidance as well. And I also appreciate the associations team that spent a lot of time. I know they put in a lot of hours and a lot of time, trying to work and help their members in their department. So I appreciate their help and all of us coming together. So any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any speaker cards? Nope. Question from the board.
Through the chair, I just move approval of the recommended action.
Second. Motion, a second.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, moving on. Item number 26, Steve Smith, County Administrator, present item 26, approval of the board response to the 2023-2024 grand jury final report. Steve, floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. Yes, this is the annual response to the annual Sutter County grand jury final report. First of all, I want to thank the grand jury members for their dedication, service on the grand jury. It's up to 19 citizens of the county to investigate a number of matters from related to county government to city government and special districts and schools. They put in a lot of time and hard work, so appreciate that. Their report had 5 reports within it, one dealing with their meeting room, one the county jail, another on tri-county rehabilitation or the juvenile hall, one on the supervisor salaries, and one on voter integrity within the county. I'll briefly go over some of these findings and reports, and the full response can be found on our website. So for the grand jury room accessibility, the grand jury had findings that there are some still non-compliant ADA issues, so we're looking, and we agreed with that and are looking to fix that as soon as possible. Our official response was this recommendation has not yet been implemented. However, county staff are already pursuing a quote on a ramp for access to the outside entrance to the county grand jury meeting room. Construction is expected to be completed by January 31st. Also, there was an issue with the lighting that we have not yet implemented, but will be by November 3rd, 2024. On the jail tour, their findings were related to there were some potential contraband drop-off locations, some structural damage, an ineffective cooling system, and difficulty in hiring and retaining staff. Our response in part is that we have had recent increases in pay, so this recommendation has been implemented and that recent pay increases have been approved, and the Board of Supervisors is currently in negotiations with the Sutter County Deputy Sheriff's Association, which was just approved today. So we have overall, we couldn't find any of the structural damage, nor could the sheriff nor general services staff. So we're trying to clear that issue up, and then we just put in there that it hasn't been implemented as we can't find the damage that they were referring to. And then regarding HVAC, this recommendation will not be implemented because it is not reasonable. The cost of a new HVAC system has yet to be determined. However, it will likely exceed $4 million. Once a cost is determined, the county will create a plan to fund the needed improvements. It was just not reasonable because of the timeline for implementing that, but we're already in the process. The juvenile hall issues were resolved before This report was published. It was just about the length of time that it was taking for the completion of the facility. That much of that was on the state. Yuba County has actually done a great job managing that project. It's been delayed several times, all on the side of the state, as far as I'm aware. So this response is basically that this has been implemented as of the time of this writing. The inspection has been completed, due in part to the diligence of Yuba County staff overseeing the project. On supervisor salaries, the report was titled Supervisor Salaries, 20 Years Without a Raise. The grand jury, in summary, made a finding that the board are each underpaid by about $20,000 annually, potentially limiting the pool of individuals who can afford to serve as a board member. The recommendation was that the board address this issue by October 31st. In response, the recommended response is this recommendation has not yet been implemented, but will be by December 31st, 2024, so that just gives a little bit more time for board consideration and for staff to update the salary surveys, compare comparables. And the final item was voter integrity, yay or nay. The board was not required or even invited to respond to this. The clerk recorder, registrar of voters did submit a response, which is attached. I should note the sheriff attached, we have an attached response from the sheriff on the jail report. But on this, basically, the grand jury found through investigating identity verification processes, voter registration system, ballot harvesting, clarification, signature verification, and voter rolls, there was no evidence of any irregularities. So there is no official recommended response from the board. As I mentioned, there's a response from the Sutter County clerk recorder, registrar of voters attached. So there are no other findings to respond to. However, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any speaker cards? Nope. Any questions from the board?
Yes, through the chair. I just want to say thank you, Steve and staff, for doing the responses to all the grand jury findings. And I really especially would like to give a shout out to the grand jury for the hard work that they put in year after year. This year particularly, the grand jury was very thorough, very fair in their findings, and I just want to give them a shout out for the hard work they do. The appreciation that they get is practically nothing for all of the volunteer hours that they put in, so just giving that appreciation. Thank you.
Thanks. I'd like to ditto everything Dan said. The grand jury had always done an outstanding job, and this year is no exception. Volunteers putting in all these hours, researching all these things, investigating multiple agencies, city, county, school districts, etc., cemetery districts, everything, water districts. They have a large role to play in the county, and I give them kudos for that. Thank you. Do we have a motion? No speaker card, right? Okay. All right. Moving on.
Move for approval.
A motion?
Second.
And a second? A roll call?
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, Steve, follow-ups.
Just that Supervisor Ziegenmeyer mentioned to me that he is out of the area for work today and regrets that he couldn't be here.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, correspondence, we have 2 items. And if there's no questions on that, we'll go to district reports. Nothing? Okay.
I have nothing to report.
Carm?
Yes, I'd like to request a letter of condolences and sympathy sent out to the families of Ajab Baines and Gurmil Delai.
Okay. And I have a couple things. First, Mike asked me to close in memory of Dwight Day, former Sutter County Fire Station number 6 captain, And I think it should be probably from the full board as well. And then Mary Knapp, 82 of Yuba City, passed away on July 13th, 2024. Arrangements under the direction of Holy Cross Funeral Homes. And last but not least, I'd like to close in memory of Helen Nicholson. She was a beloved wife of Larry Michaels and mother of Catherine Michaels, mother-in-law to Cindy Jones, and grandmother to Elena and Jones. And Helen unexpectedly passed away on August 15th, 2024. Helen, after retirement, Helen and Larry traveled extensively to garden profusely. They have like 150 roses in her yard. Helen wrote a novel, No Forgiveness for Children, and a children's book, Great Grandma Shed, Markham Road Follies. Elaine and Helen will show us their memories of Old Red for years to come. Helen had a deep love of country of Greece. She spent months in Greece, that was her native tongue, and cooked Greek food. No one will forget the Greek chicken and potatoes the way Helen did them. Perhaps most importantly, Helen and her family all best playmates and storytellers. Her love of Catherine, Elena, and Kamala are commendable. She's been made a mom and grandmother. We strongly wish there had been more time. Helen on September 7th of 2024 at 4:30 at 1515 Markham Road will be her party of her life. Sad deal, very sudden death, treatment for cancer and treatment, allergic reaction to the medication apparently. And then last but not least, but a more positive note, this week will be Labor Day. And the Labor Day parade is in Nicholas as usual every year. Starts out about 7 o'clock with gin fizzes and pancake breakfast. And the parade starts about 10. And this benefits the 4 schools in the area, Markham, Pleasant Grove, Browns, and East Nicholas High School. Each school has a booth they run every year and generates a lot of money for the schools. So have a good time if you can go to Nicholas Labor Day Parade. I know the Sheriff's Department will be there, and multiple fire trucks and fire departments, etc. We have one closed session item, correct?
To the chair.
Oh, yeah, we got to have a... Oh, yeah.
Also, sorry, did you speak, Supervisor Flores? I'm sorry. See, I was up in my head. Missed the best part of the meeting. I wanted to add just a couple things. At the museum, they now have their 2025 Sutter Buttes calendar available, and it's also their display. So I went to an event Friday. A reception there was well attended, and despite a lot of competing events that day as well. So please stop into the museum if you get a chance and check out all the photos. And then on Saturday, the 7th of September at 8 a.m. is the 2nd annual Bridging Hope, a walk for suicide awareness and prevention. So last year was the first year. It was very successful. Yuba-Sutter Behavioral Health puts this on. It will be at the Yuba County Government Center this year, and it's going to walk across both bridges. Last year, I think it went down and back the 5th Street Bridge. I think there's going to be a path now that'll just cover both bridges. So we're looking forward to attending that and providing support and awareness. Also, I'd like to mention Sarah Eberhardt-Rios, our Health and Human Services Director, held 2 different all-staff meetings. Because she has such a large amount of staff, she had 2 separate ones at different days and times, held at Boyd Hall and at Feather River Academy, and just did a great job. She's a great leader for the department. People really responded. It was very positive, and it was just more about recognizing everything that her department and her folks do. This wasn't a time for what we could do better or things like that. It's really just recognizing the great work they do, and mentioned that HHS served around 60,000 people last year, and it's just well-deserved congratulations. It also acknowledged many staff who had earned doctorates and master's degrees and bachelor's degrees and associate degrees, and just was something good that I think really pulled the department together as much as you can when you have such a large department. So I just wanted to say bravo to Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Next, we will need a motion to approve the district reports and condolences.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. We will now, why don't we take a 3-minute recess and then go into closed session?
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders, or even yourself, has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.